Good morning. Another cold morning on the Arizona Trail. I think every night out here is going to be near freezing until I finish. But it was pretty busy last night. Being so close to the road, a lot of day hikers kept coming and going. Most of them were pretty quiet, just walking past and enjoying the view. But there was one obnoxious group, of course, that were hanging out for an hour till sunset right near us. They finally left, we went to bed, and then at midnight, some other group came in and they were talking about how, like, oh, we could even find this place in the dark. And I was like, what are you guys doing up here at midnight? Anyway, we'll see where 23 miles or so puts us. And I think water sources are kind of on this whole stretch are going to be these cow ponds and cow tanks and that kind of thing. I don't know if there's a single running stream somewhere on this. It's hard to tell. I'll see what we can find though as far as water sources though. There's a junction here, Arizona Snow Bowl, and it'll take you all the way to the very top of the peak if you wanted to do that little side adventure. Also, that says Utah's 190 miles ahead. There's a few light patches of snow, but nothing to be a bother. I'm hitting one of those forest transitions where you go from all pine to all aspen. A group of elk down there this morning. I think I see 4. We're through the high point as we work our way around Humphreys. A little over 9,000 feet. It's all downhill and flat all the way to the Grand Canyon. A lot of felled trees around here. More falling down than standing up. A nice view looking back towards Humphreys. Well, I'm already back on trail, stopped in and out of the Kelly tank area, and there was a little resupply water cache box there. The Kelly tank was dry, but there was a couple of gallons of public use water in the cache box. So I hung out there for a little bit, had second breakfast. There was another guy chilling in the area, so I didn't want to pull my camera out. Had some conversation with him. He's southbound in the section, going back home to Flagstaff. So anyway, we've already knocked out over 10 miles, had a good push this morning, and it looks like a lot of the tanks, cow ponds, whatever, a lot of them are dry coming up, so the next water's 12 miles from here. Should be a decent water source, and that's pretty much where I'll be looking to camping at anyway. So I'm loaded up, and we'll go for a couple more hours and then stop for lunch and take a good lunch break. I've seen a lot of deer out here today in several different groups, but they're always just a little too far away and a little too skittish to catch them on film. forest is thinning out a bit. The trees aren't growing as big. Well, I think it's time for lunch break. It's a little after noon. I got about 6 miles left to the water source. So we'll see where that puts us time-wise by the time I get there. Might load up and then do a couple extra miles after that. We'll see how it goes. The sun is nice and shaded behind some clouds, so it's keeping things a little on the cool side, which is nice. We'll sit here for a good break and then back on trail. We're done with lunch break. Looks like it's raining back towards Flagstaff. I don't know what's in the forecast for me, but the skies look better as we're heading north. That's a good sign, at least. Looks like something happened here. Looks like a bunny rabbit to me. Well, I've been keeping an eye on the clouds behind me. It looks like there's rain coming down. It's slowly catching up to me. Might get rained on at some point in a little bit. I was just thinking how the area we camped at last night was reminding me of places in Colorado out on the CDT. And now this stuff's starting to look like the Great Basin in Wyoming. It's starting to turn into more like desert shrub grasslands. There's a notice here. The CO Bar Ranch is checkerboarded with state and private lands. Entering this area requires a private property ranch access pass and a recreational permit from the state land department. I don't have either of those. I don't know. Well, I just made it up to the East Cedar Tank. First water source for the day if you don't include the little water cache that I've passed. I'm about a quarter mile up from the trail. It's down there somewhere. I've been watching the rain. It's closing in all around me. Stuff over there is pretty close. Most of it's been staying in the foothills, but it's getting closer. There might be some places to put a tent around here. It's kind of flat enough, but it's a little rocky. I don't know whether I want to stay or push on a couple miles. Plus, I got to research where the next water source is going to be at. Well, this is it for the night. I'm camping here at the water source. Just a little bit above the pond is this little tank with a nice little hose. Pipe is going right into it, so plenty of good water flow. Much better to collect from up here. But it started sprinkling rain on me. This stuff's getting closer and closer, so I'm just going to hunker in for the night. Another extra mile or two isn't going to hurt if I don't get that done. It saves me from getting rained on, so I'm just going to shelter down here for the rest of the night. Well, I think that's going to be it for tonight. I'm warm, I'm dry, I got good food. Just cooked up this guy. I'm all set. And Double Yellow has just showed up as well. He was the guy I was camped with last night. I think he's decided on staying here as well. There's nasty clouds just keep encircling this whole area. I'm surprised it's not like pouring rain on us right now, but at some point it probably will. So I'm ready for the worst of it. Should be another fine clear day by the time the sun comes up. So I think that's it for here. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the morning. Good morning. It was a warm night last night. I could probably count on one hand the number of warm nights we've had out here. It's probably 55 plus degrees out here. I was all super bundled up, expecting it to be down to freezing. Fell asleep, and then a few hours later I'm waking up sweating. I was like, why is it so hot? Just strip everything down. Well, that's nice. Good temperatures. I don't think it's supposed to warm up into the 90s or something crazy like that. I think it's still supposed to be relatively mild, 75 to 80 maybe the most. We'll see how it gets. But shooting for another 20 plus mile day. We'll see where that goes. And water sources are kind of scarce. Looks like there's a wildlife tank or something like that in about 15 miles or so. So I think we're aiming for that. All loaded up. Good to get there. We've been on off-road track like this for the last like 10 miles yesterday. All day today might be like this. There's the Cedar Ranch trailhead. There's a little water cache box there in the bushes. I don't need anything. I'm not even going to check it out. I'm all loaded up, good to go on water. Looks like lots of weather back towards Mount Humphreys and stuff. It only drizzled a little bit of rain where I was at. Basically nothing. There's a lot of hills out here I've been seeing since yesterday that look like, remind me of old volcanic remnants, little cinder mounds or something. Looking back behind at all the weather, very slow moving. Kind of looks like one of those days where I might just be outrunning the weather continuously. I might get rained on at some point. There's Babbitt Lake, just a dry dirt patch. I think a lot of the little cow ponds and things out here are all dried up. Starting to get rained on just a little bit. I think the bulk of this one is going to go around us though. There's lots of little rain clouds all over the place. Just stopping to take in the view behind me. There's Humphreys. There's the biggest storm over there. I don't know if that's coming my way or not. All these storms are so slow moving. Well, I think that's that time for a little break for second breakfast. We're about 3 hours in, 9 miles, doing good. I'm always moving the fastest and the best in the morning. We'll take a good break here and then push on a couple more hours until we stop for lunch. We're done with second breakfast. Getting back on trail. Looks like in about 6 miles is where we need to take a turn off to go get water. And it looks like that's the only water source for the entire day. I'm not sure how much further into tomorrow I need to go to get water. It's kind of a dry stretch. This is probably the hilliest part of the entire day. I'm slowly getting closer to these wind turbines up ahead of me. I could see these from like 20 miles ago, when I was further back up in the foothills. These power lines are buzzing a bit. This dirt road crossing here is our exit. A little over a mile, maybe a mile and a half at the most, to get to our one and only water source for the day. And we'll take a lunch break there and then figure out our options of remaining miles we're going to push and when the next water source beyond that's going to be. We made it to the wildlife tank. Looks like another rain collector design. The trough here looks good. A little murky, but it should filter out okay. We made about 16.5 miles by noon, and that is pretty dang fast. So we'll chill here for a good bit, have lunch, and then figure out how long of a water carry the next stretch is going to be. We're done with lunch. I'm back on the road. I'm just going to stay on these little dirt roads that kind of parallel the trail for a bit until it reconnects later. We're kind of so far off the beaten path just to get the water. But Double Yellow showed up. We had lunch together. He's just packing out a little bit behind me. He'll probably pass me up in a bit. And looking behind, there's a big thunderstorm kind of encroaching closely. So we may get dumped on with some rain in a little bit. I've been staring at these wind turbines for the last day and a half, and they still don't feel like they're getting any closer. Looking back, getting another weather check. Doesn't look like it's getting any closer to me. It's all just kind of stagnant. These storms out here aren't moving very fast. But we're kind of encircled by them all. There's just nothing happening right where I'm at, which is good. Looks like a bunch of pronghorn out there. Finally passing by some of the wind turbines up close. Well, we've reconnected back with the red line. I think we got a little less than 2 miles, and we hit the Kaibab National Forest boundary. And I think I'll be looking for camping somewhere in that area. That'll already be beyond a 23-mile day, so that'll be good for distance-wise. Well, this is a nicer area. We're out of the shrublands and into some more tree cover. There's a nice sign. That's the area we just left, the Babbitt Range Passage. Cool. I didn't see one of those on the other side when we came into it. But this boundary is the entrance for the Kaibab National Forest. And that sign says the Russell tank is 11.6 ahead. That might be my next water source. And here's camp all set up. Just off trail and still right at the park boundary area. I think that's going to do it for today. We still got storms all around me. It hasn't rained on me today yet, but I'm preparing for the worst just in case something comes along. And it might even be a warm night again, so that'll be cool. I think that is it. We'll plan for like another 22, 23 mile stretch again, see where that puts us. And then the day after tomorrow, we should be getting into the Grand Canyon area. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.